So first and foremost, let me introduce Mr. Dwayne Reid, and he
Yes.
is the credit repair specialist. So, Mr. Reid, if you will, introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Dwayne, the credit guy. I am a credit repair specialist. So pretty much what we do is help people to fix their credit, put them in a better financial situation, educate them on credit, help them in getting the homes. Just kind of let them see how powerful credit is and help them to be in a better credit position where they can get approved for things that make it to make life a little easier for them. Also, we like to do things like to help people start businesses. We help people to get into a real estate game as far as multifamily homes. We just try to do anything that involves credit. We try to help people to get on that right path to accomplish whatever their dreams are. We've been in business since I've been doing it since roughly about 2005. I've helped thousands of people get into the position, to be great. That's what I say, to get in a position to be great, because a lot of times the credit is the reason why people, can't be great, because, the credit is causing them to take out high interest loans on cars. They're getting locked out of the real estate market. They can't get the job they want because they can't pass the background check because of their credit score. They can't get the apartment they want. They got to deal with secure credit cards, all because their credit isn't right. You even pay more car insurance because your credit isn't correct. So we just, we pretty much help people to get back on path to good credit, and pretty much hold their hand until they get there, and then teach them that we also educate people on credit. It's easy to fix somebody's credit and just tell them just go ahead. But we also try to educate them to let them know exactly, how to maintain that good credit score. So that's pretty much what we do. Cool. Well, I was born in Jamaica, which when I tell people that, a lot of people don't believe me because, I guess I don't look Jamaican, but I was born in Jamaica. My mother migrated here when I was 3. So I pretty much was raised, in New Jersey, East Orange to be exact. Went to schools there, did everything there, right? Finished my high school in East Orange. But ever since I was probably like around 16, 17, I got the itch to be an entrepreneur, right? I knew I wanted to have my own business. I knew I didn't want to work for nobody, but then at the same time, I knew I had to work for somebody so that way I can get to the point where I could work for myself. So I remember one day, after I graduated high school, I kind of got caught up in the streets a little bit, hanging out all the time, doing things I had no business doing. And, I told my mother, I asked my mother to buy me a car, right? So she looked at me like I was crazy. And pretty much,
like you had 2 heads on you.
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing that. I was hanging out all day, not doing nothing with myself, right? Thought because I finished high school, I was grown. So we had a real serious conversation one day. She pretty much told me, look, it's either you go to school or you get a job or you got to go. You can't stay in this house, right? So me being who I am, I decided to do both. I went to school and got a job. So I ended up getting a job in HVAC, which is heat and ventilation and air conditioning. And I figured since I had the job, I might as well go ahead and, go to school for it. So I went to school for it, didn't finish. I didn't go all the way through because I felt like I was in the field. I was learning more in the field than I was at the actual school. So instead of me, continuously spending my money on something I know already, I kind of dropped out. So I did that for probably about 5-6 years. And then a friend of mine's, he was also in school with me. He got a job at a controls company. A controls company is pretty much one of these companies that have, like in the New York City, you have these big buildings that have these big air conditioning heating systems. Well, they have a computer system that run them. So pretty much what he did was he got me hooked up in a job there, right? So I was making a lot more money. It was more, more professional. It was just a better overall opportunity. So I ended up working in that field for 10 years. And I loved the field so much, I kind of put my whole, businessman stuff to the back because I was, I love my job. I love the people I was working with. And then probably around 25, 26. Now, mind you, I was always fixing credit. I read a book when I was probably like around 17 about credit, and I kind of self-taught myself. So while all this was going on in the background, I was still fixing credit for a couple dollars here and there, right? And then pretty much what happened was I ended up meeting this one girl. She owned a beauty salon, and a friend of hers told her that, I'm real good at credit repair. So to me, it was just a side hustle, just a way to get a couple extra dollars. So I wasn't really thinking nothing. I didn't think I was going to, build to what I am today. So she came to me, she said, hey, if you can fix, she paid a guy $3,000 to fix her credit. He didn't do nothing for her. So she said, if you can fix my credit, then I'll promote you. right?
Okay.
Mind you, I'm still hanging out, still, I'm going to work, going to school, not really thinking about none of this stuff. So I ended up fixing her credit for her, and she ended up promoting me. And this thing just started going, building and building and building to the point where I'll be at work and my phone just be ringing. I had to leave my phone in the car because it was, ringing off so much. And at the time, the light bulb still didn't go off in my head that, hey, this is your path, go do this. Why are you doing this? And then I ended up meeting my wife. We were together the whole time, but we ended up getting married. So after we got married, now that's when I pretty much, decided, hey, look, I want to go on the path of being my own boss. But again, my problem was I loved my job. Like there was nothing, there was no complaints about my job. I loved it. I was making a whole bunch of money, doing a bunch of nothing, right? I love the guys that I work with, everything. So what ended up happening was pretty much we ended up having 2 kids, and my wife was pretty much taking care of them because I was going to work in the daytime and I was coming home at nighttime and, fixing credit and, have my side hustle. And one day she pretty much told me, like, look, I can't do this no more. You gotta quit your job and, do your credit thing full time because I need help with these kids. And I remember the day she did it, she stepped in front of me as I was about to leave. And I started laughing. I was like, whatever. And I went to step around and she stepped to the side. She said, no, I'm serious. Either you quit your job or I'm done. Like straight like that. So at that point, then she took my phone out of my pocket. She gave me the phone and said, call your boss and tell him you're quitting. So I had to get on the phone with him right there on the spot and tell him, hey, look, it was a nice run, but I got to go. I can't do this no more. I can't keep this up no more. Yeah. So that ended up being about a 3-week roller coaster with the company being mad at me that I was leaving because I was one of the top guys in the company. Them pretty much not trying to convince me to stay. Other people telling me to go. It was kind of a push and pull. And then I realized that what was really going on was that fear. Is that fear of stepping out on your own. And I hear people talk about this fear, but I didn't know how real it was. Yes. Until for some reason you start like not thinking, like not using common sense. Like for some reason I thought that if I left this job, my life would be over. I'm going to be a failure. And I was talking to my wife about it, and I told her straight up. I said, look, I'm scared to death to do this. We got these 2 little kids. What happens if we don't make it? She was like, you can always get another job. And I was like, you know what? That makes perfect sense. But again, it was the fear. So then what I started doing was start making excuses. Oh, we don't have enough money in the bank account. We don't have enough credit cards paid off. We don't have this, we don't have that. I started making all these excuses, and one by one, she was just shooting them down. So she pretty much gave me the power to really get over it and start moving forward. So then I decided I left my job. I remember it was October. I left my job probably October 2nd. And the first week I was depressed, right? I went from fixing credit 4 hours a day to, the whole day now is opened up to credit, right? So I didn't have a lot to do. And I remember a week into it, my wife called me on the phone and she said what's going on. And I was walking around the house with my robe on. And she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just home depressed. I don't have nothing to do. It's like I went from being busy to my schedule is now wide open. So she was like, why don't you just, why don't you clean up or something? I said, you know what, that's a good idea. So I started pretty much every day. I had a routine. I get up, clean the whole house up, then I would do whatever I got to do as far as running around. And then I would, get to work. Within 2 weeks of that conversation, my schedule was booked from 10 a.m. in the morning to, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. My whole schedule just filled up. People started calling me when I'd be like, oh, I'm available during the daytime now. I was like, okay, good. You're doing this full time. Okay, cool. I'm going to connect you with this person. I'm going to connect you with that person. At that point, I ended up making the most money I ever made in my life at that point in the first month. And I think it took that to make me realize that, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my path. Right. Yes. So then I jumped on the path and I've been going. That was 5 years ago. And I've been, on my own ever since. And I've never, not one time did I look back and say I regret leaving my job. It was the best decision I ever made. So, I know that fear is real. And I just want people to know that it's okay to be scared to death because I was, as men, we want to make sure that we can hold our families down. We want to make sure that our family shouldn't want for nothing. And you don't want to make the wrong move that puts them in that situation where, you're leaning on your wife now and you're trying to scramble to get things back together. But it ended up being the best decision I ever made, man. And, I thank her and just, for really pushing me. And we still going up today, man. We blessed.
All right. Excellent. So, yeah, Dwayne, you make a very valid point there. The biggest thing with starting a business or starting anything is that getting over that fear.
Exactly.
And, fear is a paralyzing thing.
It definitely is.
You don't have somebody to push you or if you're not a self-motivated person, you're never going to overcome those fears, and it's just going to keep you in a place where you're not going to be doing anything with your gifts and your talents. So kudos and salute to your wife for pushing you out and making that step forward.
Yeah, she definitely pushed me out the nest. She definitely did. Oh man, but I was comfortable.
Yeah, we got to come out of that comfort zone. Yes,
exactly. It's not a good place to be sometimes.
Not at all. Yeah. Sister Stephenie, how we doing?
Hi there, how are you? Thank you for your
we
working.
Dwayne, I want to make a comment. Your wife was so awesome.
Thank you.
Because a lot of women, we're afraid. Get out of that pie in the sky. Get a regular job. So she was so awesome, willing to do that with you. That's wonderful.
Wonderful. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself.
That's
so
awesome.
There you go.
That's the biggest problem a lot of entrepreneurial men have. Because it's tough to be able to handle business, but someone to believe in them and to push them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your patience on this evening. How are you gentlemen doing?
Good, great.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very excited for this opportunity, Brother Rob.
Thank you for coming on board. We thank you and we're grateful for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so let me just say hello to all of the guests that have jumped on board and commented. I wanted to acknowledge them before we move forward. So, as I said before, greetings to Brother Derek Battle. Thank you for joining us. Sister Connie, I thank you for joining us as well. My sister Millie, she's out there with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Millie. Brother Sylvan has joined us. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Glad to have you on board. Sister Nicole is with us also. She was on our first segment, which was last Thursday, introducing her business, which is Integrity Cleaning Services. So we want to thank you for joining us here. We also have CG, I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us. He's from our YouTube audience out there. And who else we got? Sister Evelyn is with us. Hey, Sister Evelyn, how are you? Glad to have you on board with us as well. And my brother Ransom, how we doing, brother? Good to have you as well. So I just want to thank you and acknowledge all of you for coming on board with us for this second session of the Come Up. So now that we have Miss Stephenie Franklin and she has some audio, we can have her do her introduction. So if you will introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business.
All right. Well, I'm Miss Stephenie Franklin. I have a bachelor's degree in actually communications, radio, and television. But I also have, about 20 plus years experience in elementary education, K to 5, certified teacher in New Jersey. Then also 5 plus years in retail banking, including management. I just truthfully, I love people and I love to encourage people and I love to help people to be good stewards over what they have. Making Sense of Your Sense LLC is my company, and it's an umbrella for a few financial endeavors. That's One Stop Taxes, store number 10436, and also I also am an insurance agent in New Jersey, life insurance agent. I'm affiliated with the NAA, National Agents Alliance. I'm very proud of that.
Okay. All right.
What I best could tell you is I just look to help people to be good stewards over what they have, their finances, and their health too.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about. All right. Thank you for that.
One Stop Taxes is all for 48 contiguous states, United States of America, so from coast to coast. Not Alaska, I'm sorry, and not Hawaii, but contiguous. The 48 contiguous states. It's a cloud-based service, so a person can send all their docs to me through my One Stop Taxes app. It's available on the App Store. One Stop Taxes, you find me, you send me all your docs through their secure server. I handle your taxes. You can pay me through, a few different vehicles. There's Cash App. There's all kinds of ways to pay me. And then when I'm finished, I'll connect with you, and then I'll make sure that I mail back all your docs. Just like if you went to H&R Block, you receive your folder with all your information and your income taxes for that year. And I also make suggestions for the following year to make sure that my clients are in a good place. I feel like tax season should be Christmas for everybody, you know. So that's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking to do. And then I'm raising up on a financial education side with insurance, because many of us, many of us don't know a lot about the different types of insurance that there are. There's all types of annuities. There's all types of opportunities to put money aside. I believe in what I do. I used to be with another company that specialized in term insurance, but I like what I do with NAA because there's all types of insurance. There's cash value for whole life. To me, insurance shouldn't just be for when you die, but when you're alive. So with options, you have living benefits as well as death benefits, and I love that.
I consider myself some people say that they laid out this game plan and they knew this was going to happen. This was all an accident for me, right? I just read a book when I was 17. And the book was that was the first book I ever read, right? About the credit system. Yeah, the first book I ever read was a credit book. Right?
Wow.
I was the guy that when I was in school and you had to read a book, I would just read certain paragraphs and just kind of skim through it, just so I can say I read it. But the first time I read a book, exactly. So you know what I'm talking about. The first time I read a book was that book. I read the book from top to bottom. It taught me everything: how credit works, how to fix credit, the credit bureaus. It taught me everything about credit. And I remember after I read the book, because a friend of mine, his older brother, gave it to me. He said, "Hey, you're gonna need this. Go ahead and study this." So I read the book, and I remember I gave him the book back, and I said, "Man, credit is a ripoff. Why anybody use that stuff? It don't make no sense." Right? And he started laughing. He was like, "Yeah, that's the point of it, right?" So it just so happened, one day my mother came to me and said she was trying to get a car, and she said she needed, her credit done. I said, "Oh, I can fix credit." She looked at me like, "What you know about credit?" Mind you, I'm like 20. You know what I mean? She said, "What you know about credit?" Ended up fixing her credit. I remember she got the results back in the mail from TransUnion, and all you saw was deleted. She walked up to me like, what just happened? And I was like, "That's called results, baby." You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really kind of rubbing it, but I still didn't know. I didn't really know, And then, but what made me realize it was two things happened. First thing that happened was, I used to go to this guy's house every Saturday, right? He used to have like 5 or 6 people for me every Saturday, and he used to pay me $100, and I would fix their credit. But little did I know he was actually charging them $300 and giving me $100. That's the whole thing of when you're naive.
That was the come up right there.
Yeah, he was on the come up at the time. Yeah. So and I got a backstory about him too. But he would do that, and I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was this guy wanted me to come fill out some paper for some people. I get a couple of dollars and I go home. I'm like 21, 22. I'm young. So two things happened. So once that happened, one day I remember I had a '93 Toyota Camry. I just got out the body shop, got some work to it. I think I paid like $1,000 for the car, and I paid like $1,500 to fix it. Right. So I'm on the Parkway one day, and I'm got my windows tinted. I got my music up, and this guy, this had to be in 2005. This guy pulls up next to me. That was from my neighborhood, but he's one of the guys that was at the guy's house that needed the help. So I fixed his credit. On the Parkway, he pulled up next to me in a 2005, at the time, brand new BMW 645 from Berkeley, right? So as he pulled up next to me, he beeped the horn. He was like, "Thanks, credit man." And he pulled up. That's where I got my name from too. He was like, "Thanks, credit man." And he pulled off. So I stopped for a second and I thought, why is he in that and I'm in this? And he came to me for help, right? So that's when the light, like remember I said, that's when the light bulb went off. And I said, wait a minute, there's something going on here that I'm not aware of. So I went home. And, I started doing all this research, looking at all these numbers, and realized that, credit repair was like this $40 billion industry. And you had all these big companies and you had all this stuff going on. And then I started researching how, Black people or minorities wasn't really, partaking in the credit, the whole credit thing. It's like all the rich people were making money off other people's money. And we were just living, check to check or, whatever. And then so that's when I really started realizing that there was a avenue, for me to go down to actually to do two things: to help people, to put them in better positions, and to take care of my family. So that's when I really started focusing more. I got certified, and just started building from there. And what's funny is the guy that used to, every Saturday that I used to go to his house, I ran into him a couple years back at Kmart. So I seen him at Kmart. I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, how you been?" Blah blah blah. And he started laughing. I was like, "Why are you laughing?" He was like, "Come on, man, you got to know that I was charging these people $300, only giving you $100." I was like, "Yeah, I know how the game goes. I figured that out." Like, that's how I figured out that what he was doing. But I knew, eventually I knew what he was doing. Because people would tell me like, man, that's real cheap, man. Only $300. I'm like, $300? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was going to get $100. But that was the reason why I started my business. Once I realized that it was an area that we were really lacking in, I decided that I'm going to not only be a credit repair company, but I'm going to be a credit education company as well. And people used to say to me all the time, why do you want to educate people on something? Don't you want to keep them in the market and keep coming back? And to me, a client that returns, that means I didn't do my job, or it's for two reasons why they come back. Either I didn't do my job or they didn't do their job. And it's to the point now when clients come back to me, they'll tell me like, hey, my credit is bad because I have these 2 collection accounts and I had a late payment from 6 months ago and I got to pay this credit card off. Can you take care of the collection accounts? I'll take care of everything else. So they are learning the process, but it's all about, at that point, it's about the discipline that they have. So that tells me that we're doing our job. We're fixing their credit and we're educating them at the same time. So that's what made me want to start this business.
Michelle, thank you for joining us. Her question is,
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So I'm going to leave the link to his website, and then he's going to give you some more information at the end of this interview session where we do our Q&A, and he can answer that question directly for you. But I'm going to put up the link in the comment section on Facebook. All right.